A new study is confirming what many of us have suspected for some time about just how much code switching at work impacts black professionals. According to a new study in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, black employees are perceived as more professional when they adjust their behavior to mirror white norms. The study found that when white participants were presented with audio, visuals, or text from fictitious black professionals, the white respondents received the black employees who were code switching their behavior, their style of speech, name selection, or hairstyles to white norms as more professional employees. The research group said this about their findings, quote, "This racial code switching requires marginalized groups to suppress their cultural identity, a burden that is mentally and emotionally taxing and likely reinforces the association between whiteness and professionalism. Employees who wish to build authentic relationships with their black colleagues may need to turn inward and examine if they deem their behaviors not aligned with white norms to be unprofessional." Joining me now to discuss is the Dean of the College of Ethnic Studies at California State University at Los Angeles, Julianne Malveaux. Julianne, this is just a fascinating thing. It's not like it's new. It's kind of a lived experience for a lot of black people, but it is fascinating in the sense of, you know, what do you do? Like, what do we tell the young black professional to do? This is how the employee is going to evaluate you. You can rebel against it and just say, I don't care what happens, and that will probably have some ill effects. But how do you take what this study is presenting, and what do we tell to young people about what these results mean?
I just tell them to be aware. To be aware that there is code switching, there's not code switching, there's times when you do it and there's times when you don't. They just have to be contextual, because actually, Charles, you're absolutely right. I think of Paul Laurence Dunbar, we wear the mask that grins and lies, that hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. And why would our world be otherwise? We wear the mask. And that's what black professionals do. I've coached so many young women, I would not be the one to coach them really, but I have, about one young lady. She didn't grin. She did not grin. She kept basically a stoic face no matter what happened, and she was perceived as hostile. And I told her, I said, I hate to tell you this, but crack a smile every now and then. We crack a smile every now and then. We know that we live in an anti-black world. What our young people need to know is that that's the case and how they navigate it. So I always tell them, just be aware, listen before you speak, learn the corporate culture. If you want to do corporate, that's what you got to do.
Right, so you tell them to be aware, but how do you tell them not to get lost in that, right? So it's soul crushing in a way to tell someone, like, yes, you have to smile more because you're a woman and they expect women to be smiling. It's kind of soul crushing to tell, a young black man or woman that the way your hair is growing out of your follicles is offensive to some, and some people see it as radical, and therefore you need to change that or shave it down or whatever, cut it in a bald fade, whatever. How do we keep from crushing? Yeah.
So 20 years ago, a new executive at a network, which will go nameless, told me that I could do this if I could only grow my hair. And I said, okay. He said, does your hair grow? I said, hair growth is a human function. I guess that was the end of the interview. But it was sort of like, excuse me? No, we are always being asked to conform. And it is soul crushing to have to conform, but people make choices. What I love about the younger generation is the numbers of them who are doing their own thing, podcasts, blogs, whatever they're doing, trying to monetize that, because they don't want to play the corporate game, because the corporate game is a game of conformity, and the tall nail is always going to be beat down. Soul crushing is a modern way to put it. I know so many people, so many marriages, so many lives that have been basically detonated by the silent pain of suppressing yourself.
I want to get your opinions on diversity, because I often see places that say they want diversity and look at the employees that they have hired to provide that diversity, and they hire a bunch of people with similar experiences. They just have different skin on, right? So they've all gone to the same, prep schools and private schools. They've all gone to basically the same colleges. It's hard for me to detect. I from the South, I can hear a voice. I'm like, oh, that's a black person. That's what. It's hard for me to detect any kind of ethnic, racial dialect because the people who are speaking have basically trained their voices to not have that. And so I'm like, you basically, I guess this is integration because you are impacted by racism and white supremacy, but your whole lived experience has been to get as close to whiteness as possible. And so is that still is that complete and full diversity? And do employers want real diversity? Do they want regional diversity? Do they want the woman or man from rural Arkansas? They might be smart as a whip, but they come with an accent. They come with a different comportment. And I don't see them actually wanting as much of that as I think that they should.
Well, I think there are dimensions to diversity that we're not exploring. We can't just say race and gender, especially, I mean, there was a group of studies done in the early 2000s on, it was called Minorities on Boards. And there were three studies, blacks on boards, women on boards. But anyway, long story short, Charles, the blacks and women on boards look just like the white men on the boards. In other words, they all went to maybe Dartmouth, maybe Harvard, maybe Yale. They all sort of summered in the same places and all that. So the only thing they brought different was their skin tone. And one could argue that that does not make a difference. When you don't have economic diversity, in other words, first generation students, as opposed to students who are fourth generation Harvard. And there's some black people who are fourth generation Harvard, let's be clear. And I'm not hating on them. But what I'm saying is that really the diversity that you want. So we have to really pay attention to it. But Charles, once we raise that question, we raise questions about access to power. Because as the person who is fourth generation Harvard, will he going to give it up to fourth generation Hood?
Got you. Julianne Malveaux. I'm not fourth generation Harvard, but I'm third generation Grambling. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate your time.